So for part 2, we're doing draw your own graph. There are 4 questions, and each question has different restrictions, and you have to follow the restrictions and draw your own graph. I will be doing these questions by screen recording on a whiteboard. So yeah, let's get right into it.
So number one is saying there's a point with more than 2 neighbors. It's popular. All right, so let's get started. So number one, let's say what's number one, and let's say that the point is let's just say the point we're gonna start with the black color, and let's change the neighbor's color. Let's change it to what color should we do? Should we do no blue is cool. I like blue. So it has more than 2 neighbors, right? So if we say this is one neighbor to the point, and we say this is another neighbor. Now, right now, we have 2 neighbors. However, the question says that there's more than 2. So we can just add a third one right here. And then we can just connect the lines to the point. And voila, the point has more than 2 neighbors. It has 3 neighbors, right? Now, let's start with number 2. Let me just use a black color. So number 2. So number 2 is asking, there is a point with exactly 4 neighbors. All right, so exactly 4 neighbors. So let's start with this point again, this point. And again, let's change our color. I like that blue color. That blue color is really nice. So let's use blue color. And it says that it has exactly 4 neighbors, right? So you just need to add 4 of these blue points, which represents its neighbors, like this, and like this. Let's just make this one bigger. And all we just have to do is just connect to this point in the middle. And voila. This point has exactly 4 neighbors. All right, so now let's start with number 3. Let's use the black color again. So number 3. So number 3 is asking, every point must have an even number of neighbors. So again, let's use this as our starting point. This is the starting point. Now, it's saying that every neighbor, so let's change our color. So every neighbor, our neighbor color is the blue one, right? It has an even number of neighbors. Now we'll just start off with these 2 points, so these 2 neighbors. Now as you can see, even though the black one has 2 neighbors, these blue points or the neighbors does not have even number of neighbors, right? It only has 1, and 1 is an odd number. So how about I add 2 points here, and let's just connect this. Now this black point or the starting point has 4 neighbors now, so it's even. However, these don't, right? As you can see, it doesn't have even number of neighbors. But what if I can do this? If I draw a line like this and like this, then now this neighbor point has neighbors right here and right here. This one has right here and right here. This point has this as a neighbor and this as a neighbor, and this point has this as a neighbor. So this graph is the correct answer because every point has at least has 2 or has 4 neighbors, which is this middle point, which are all even numbers. So lastly, let's do number 4. Let's change the color. So number 4 is asking that at least one point must be isolated, have 0 neighbors. It's a lonely point. Now, I know no one wants to be lonely, and I know that no one's lonely, everyone has friends. But anyways, we need to solve this question, right? So again, let's start the black color as a starting point, and let's again use the blue color. Now let's use the blue color again. Now, what I'm going to do is pretty much you could solve this question with any of this graph because all you really have to do is just add a point, right? You can just add a point, add a point, add a point. Now I'm just going to use this graph again and draw on here. So in this graph, in number 3's graph, we had a shape like this. The points. And then all we just need to do is we just have to add one lonely point that's isolated. And what isolated means in this situation or in this context is that it's just not touching any of the points with lines. Do you see? This point is not touching any of the lines or points. So that's what it means to be isolated. So these are all the answers to these questions. And yeah,